Imagine not being able to experience and enjoy the innocence of childhood. Now imagine the prospect of life complicated by potential physical problems, accompanied by pain and expensive managed care. Unfortunately, it's a future that children affected with hemophilia, von Willebrand disease, and other bleeding disorders must face every single day.
Hemophilia is forever. I was born in 1962. As a child, treatment was not available. Very little was known about the disease, and the first indication my parents had that something was wrong was a lot of very frequent severe bruising and a lot of severe joint swelling. The treatment back then was non-existent. It was pretty much ice packs, whole blood plasma, which was very difficult to get since not much was known. The frequent bleeds and the lack of treatment led to a lot of severe joint damage, a lot of very swollen, painful knees, ankles, hands, arms, and elbows, and that in turn led to joint disease.
Growing up, Joe had 7 orthopedic surgeries and was confined to a wheelchair from the age of 7 to 14. Today, Joe has trouble walking as a result of the multiple surgeries and repeated joint bleeds.
Even though the access to factor has improved since when I was a kid, people living with hemophilia will still deal with the enormous cost associated with it and the discipline required to treat it every single day. Living with hemophilia means that I always have to take factor. I infuse myself several times each week, and I always have to make sure that factor is readily available for unexpected needs.
At the Hemophilia Foundation of Greater Florida, it's our mission to improve the quality of life for people with bleeding disorders. We achieve this by offering programs and services to the bleeding disorders community that include emergency financial assistance, where people can receive financial help with medical issues, dental care, medical alert, helmets, and basic life support issues. Additionally, we provide educational and outreach programs which address the most updated bleeding disorders, medical information, and education to the community.
I have 2 children with von Willebrand's disease. My daughter Kaylee, who is 16 years old. My son Cody, who is 13 years old. My daughter Kaylee has von Willebrand's a little bit more severe than Cody, but Cody is autistic. Because Cody has autism and mild cerebral palsy, he also gets bruises really bad. For Cody to receive factor, it's very challenging. It takes 6 people to hold him down. He has a very bad needle phobia, and it's very stressful for him. Besides dealing with von Willebrand's, Kaylee has also had to deal with social issues at school. It was leaked out that she has von Willebrand's disease. And a lot of kids and teachers don't know what von Willebrand's disease is. She was bullied as far as knowing that they thought it was AIDS. It got so bad that I had to transfer out of the school and place her into a different school.
And people started making comments like, you can't touch her, you'll get what she has, or no one should be near me because I'm contagious, or just stuff that was hurtful.
Having von Willebrand's also is very expensive. Kaylee's medicine runs us about $27,000 a month, and there has been times that we have not been able to have or carry insurance on Kaylee. And if it wasn't for the Hemophilia Foundation, we wouldn't have been able to get Kaylee's scripts filled.
For people with hemophilia and von Willebrand's disease, bleeding into joints and muscles can cause intense pain, swelling, and even permanent damage. Although there is no cure for these bleeding disorders, with proper treatment, individuals can lead a long, healthy, and active life.
Mikey is a freshman on the Dr. Phillips High School varsity lacrosse team. Lacrosse is a highly physical contact sport. Mikey has severe hemophilia A.
Wake up, Noah!
Mikey became interested in lacrosse when he was about 8 years old. Both sides of our family had played the sport, so we were big fans, and we were concerned he wouldn't be able to play. So we reached out to the Hemophilia Foundation, and they put us in touch with a treatment center that helped us make a plan.
I don't think we actually thought he would like the sport in the beginning, but after he became so passionate about it, that's when we were really worried to tell him he couldn't play because of his hemophilia. So we went to the doctors and we went to our local chapter and found out what we could do to allow him to play and be as normal as possible.
There's always going to be inherent risk in having hemophilia, but he infuses every other day and certainly before practices and games. You know, the fact that he can self-infuse, that we can feel comfortable and confident that he knows what he's doing, and that the medicine is going to do what it's supposed to do, just gives us great comfort. And we're just so excited now that he's at this phase in the sport that he can keep going. It's exciting for all of us.
Every summer we send children to Camp Spirit, a medically supervised camp. Here they have the opportunity to experience all the excitement that goes along with camping without worrying about their bleeding disorder. And since maintenance of bleeding disorders is a lifetime responsibility, children learn how to gain independence through self-infusion. In addition to camp, we also have a yearly family retreat weekend where children and families can enjoy a fun-filled getaway, share experiences, and learn more about bleeding disorders.
Hi, we're the Wright family. I'm Holly, this is my husband Chad, our oldest Mason, and our youngest Hunter. Our oldest Mason has hemophilia, but our youngest Hunter does not. We didn't find out that Mason had hemophilia until he was 6 months old. He had a bruise and hematoma on his ribs, so we took him into the pediatrician who called Child Protective Services on us. And it wasn't until he had some more bruising that we demanded blood work, and then he was diagnosed with severe hemophilia type A. So when Mason was first diagnosed, we took precautions to try to limit the bleeds and the bruises. We got carpet in our house, and he wore some knee pads crawling. He wore a helmet, and he still had often enough bleeds that we started some prophylaxis where I infuse twice a week factor so that he always has better levels than the less 1% that he normally does. He got a port placed in May of this year so that we are able to do it at home because it was hard to find his veins. We are wearing our Team Mason shirts from the Turkey Clot Trot that we do every year in Jacksonville for the Hemophilia Foundation of Greater Florida. They do so much for our family, and we love being a part of all the events and raising money to help not only our family but others with bleeding disorders.
The Hemophilia Foundation of Greater Florida has been helping people with bleeding disorders since 1996. All of our efforts depend on donations, and 91 cents of every dollar raised goes back to the bleeding disorders community. We offer an array of fundraising opportunities, such as our annual Flight for Tomorrow Invitational Golf Tournament. We put on 4 fundraising walks throughout the state, and we host an annual theater event. Please consider donating and help us improve the quality of life for people with bleeding disorders. Every penny counts.